everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Mike and today's video is going to be all about my makeup memory box. For some of you this is going to be very long awaited because this has been requested months ago, but I had so many other video ideas that had to go up before the end of the year that I just couldn't fit this one in. So I thought we could start off the year and in the first month of 2021 talk about what I keep in my makeup memories box. And I think that you might be quite surprised. So what is a makeup memory box? For those of you who don't know, whenever I go through my makeup collection to declutter things, I sometimes pull apart a couple of products that I know I just can't get rid of, that they are too old or they are like super expired or whatever is going on. But for some reason there's something about it, either because it has very pretty packaging or because it just reminds me of a certain time in my life, or it's linked to something to do with my blog or my YouTube channel, and or like other like personal memories from like travels and things like that. So I've got some products in here that I've gathered over the years. I've been loving and into makeup for more than a decade, and there are products in here such as the very first eyeshadow I still have from when I was in high school. So there are definitely things in here. I won't be swatching things because I don't think everything is going to be safe. But there are definitely also more recent things in here. So if you ever hear me reference the makeup memory box in videos, then this little drawer from IKEA is where I keep everything sort of in one place. And I do have to say there are some bigger things in here as well. So that's why, you know, palettes and stuff take up quite a lot of space. So there isn't a whole lot in here. And let me just start with this little guy here. So one of the things that I keep in here is this little box from Dior, and this is some of the oldest makeup and fragrance that I have. So there's also some fragrance in here actually. So this is what's inside, and let's just start off with this. This I can read. This is Armani, and I'm not sure what brand this is. These are travel mini fragrances that were gifted to me when I was a kid by my grandma or my aunt at like a sleepover. So I've had for decades. Like, I don't use these anymore, don't worry about it, but these are just like, it just reminds me of my childhood, so that's why these are in here. And another thing I have in here are these Fragonard, which is in France, these little perfumes as well. These mini perfumes, my parents brought this back for me from a vacation that they went on a few years ago. And then in here, some OG eyeshadow favorites. So let's just talk about that eyeshadow from high school. So I used to wear nothing but green and gold eyeshadow. That was like my jam. And I would wear this Bourjois shade. It's Vert Pétillant Pastel Lumière Pearl eyeshadow. This is what it looks like. I'm not sure. Would this still swatch? Oh, it feels dry. Oh, it still has color payoff, people. Oh, the packaging is falling apart. That's how much I use it. I used to wear this clubbing, yeah, when I was in my teens, and I would put this. Oh, it's like a pastel-y shimmering green. I don't think you can see that, but it's very light, but it has a really pretty shine to it actually. But I would wear this from lid to brow because it was the early 2000s, and that's what you did. In the early 2000s, you would put green or blue eyeshadow from lid to brow, apparently. Luckily, there was no social media at the time. And then back when I first started my makeup journey, I've mentioned this a lot of times, but I thought you had to buy YSL, Chanel, or Dior to find good makeup. I now know better, but at the time I didn't. So I have this little mini from Dior. I think I got this free as a gift with purchase when I bought one of their mascaras. And this is their 5 Couleur eyeshadow palette, 553 Elegant. And it's just a brown neutral matte. I don't seem to have used this a lot. But I thought that's then something that I keep, like these little mini things that you can't really buy. And then this Chanel eyeshadow. This is their Ombre Essentielle in 70 Platine. And it's like a white shimmer, and it used to have a Chanel logo in there, and this has a dip. That's how much I use it. I remember wearing this just all over the lid by itself, nothing in the crease. My makeup skills have come a very long way, people, a very long way. And then this YSL guy, oh, what is this called? This is the Ombre Solo Double Effect eyeshadow in shade 1, and it's pink. Like, not just pink, it's Barbie pink. And especially the deeper of the two shades, it's got like 2 little shades, and it's got such a big dent in that I'm like, girl, it's like, it's got shimmer too. Like, who was I? Like, this is more than a decade ago. I remember the last time I remember putting this on was in 2009 for a Backstreet Boys concert. And then what I just recently put in are the lipsticks that I used to keep on display in my office slash bedroom when I was still living in my old place. I sort of keep lipsticks in pretty packaging, even if I don't wear them anymore. And some of these, like sometimes the shade wasn't right, or something else, the texture wasn't great. So I've got a few one-off brands in here that I don't really own a lot of other makeup by, or at least not in this like section. I have the Rouge in Love lipstick from Lancome, and this is in a shade, ooh, the shade has rubbed off. This is in a shade that they were very famous for, and I didn't know it at the time, but this is what looks to be a purple lipstick, but it actually pulls quite pink on the lips. And I remember, like, Makeup Alley, once I found that place, I saw a lot of people sort of like raving about this lipstick and how lovely it was, and then I already owned it. So I kind of low-key bought like a cult favorite lip product from Lancome that is no longer being sold, that I kind of just picked out one day when I had like a gift voucher back in the day when I didn't know anything about makeup. And then another thing in here, I don't own anything else by this brand, but the packaging is just too gorgeous. This is from Besame. This is their Snow White red lipstick. I believe it's called Fairest Red officially, or Fairest Apple. And this is a lovely, lovely shade of red. This lipstick is so pretty, but I really struggled with this lipstick. It's got a very strange bullet, so just the lipstick shape doesn't make it easy to apply, and this didn't say put on me because it's a cream formula. So for me, it wasn't worth it in the end, but it's got super pretty packaging. It's the only Besame product I've ever bought, because it's a very difficult brand to get where I live. Like, I definitely bought this like in a shop when I was somewhere where they did sold this. So this is just definitely sort of like something I just want to keep around. And then I have the MAC Riri lipstick. Who remembers this collection? So I remember thinking, oh, I want that. It was supposed to be like the rebranded version of Ruby Woo, which I didn't own. It's got the rose gold packaging and then Rihanna's signature on the bullet as well. And this never worked on me. Not because of the shade, but because it bled. Whenever I wore this, it pulled into all the fine lines around my mouth and it feathered out completely. I tried it over a lip liner, still the same issue. There's just something about my body chemistry and this lipstick that don't go together, and therefore I've only ever kept it in my memory sort of station because of that. So a brand that is heavily represented here is Dior, and Dior is a brand that I used to buy products from regularly, and I still have some of them in my makeup collection, but especially the lipsticks I found over time are just not worth it per se. I have one of these Diorific, and really I only keep it around for the packaging. I ended up picking a shade that is just completely atrocious on me. It's far too brown. Again, back in the day I didn't really know what suited me, and I just kind of bought this. This is shade 024, but again, this is more than a decade old, so I don't think you can still get it. But I do think that this packaging is just really cool. I'm not sure if they still do these. And then I have a couple of their like standing up kind of lipsticks, and that's why I'm like, oh, don't I have more? Because I know I have like one of the like regular bullets, I'm sure, as well, but I don't know where it went. I think I may have just ended up decluttering it in the end because I already had so many other lip products in here. The thing that got me into red lipstick, really, this is the Dior Addict Extreme 756 Fireworks. This pulls out like this, and this is a sheer red. So this is also a lipstick that I've kept around for years to recommend to people if you want red and you want it to have a good color payoff, but you don't want it to be fully opaque. Then the Dior Addict Extreme line was very nicely done. And I also have one of the new Dior Addict lipsticks when it was rebranded when Jennifer Lawrence became the face of the brand. This is in the shade Dior's 976, and it is a deeper pink, and this has the holographic packaging. So again, I just keep it around for the packaging, and I think this is ingenious. And then I have the matching gloss to that. So this is the gloss that goes with it, and this I can't read. 765, I'm not sure, but it's like a pinky sparkly number. And then I also have one of these lip lacquers that they came out with, and again, I kind of just got sucked in by how pretty this is, because it's like shaped like a lipstick inside it, but it actually just has like a doe foot applicator. And it's a really nice, like, bright corally shade. But again, I don't really wear bright corals all that much, so this wasn't my favorite, plus this didn't stay put very well, and then these lipsticks are just a little bit expensive. However, I just keep these around because they have stunning packaging. Another brand that is represented here is Chanel, and I have one of their Rouge Allure Velvets. This is in the shade 42 L'Éclatante, and this is one that you press, it pops up, and then this is a really nice, really vibrant pink. The issue I had with this lipstick is that it didn't really show up very well on my lips. It wasn't opaque enough to cover my natural lip color, but again, I kept this one around for the packaging. And then I have Rouge Orage, and this is one of their regular bullet lipsticks. There's nothing special about it. Again, a bit too brown tone for my current tastes. This is the first Chanel lipstick I ever bought. It was my first luxury lipstick I ever bought, which is why it has a place in this makeup memory box. But not only that, I bought this in my best attempt at speaking German, because I bought this in the KaDeWe, Kaufhaus des Westens in Berlin, when I went there with a friend. And I was like, he was speaking fluent German, and I was like, I know I can speak German, it's just there's too much English in my brain. So I told him, like, go shoo, I know I want to buy myself a Chanel lipstick. So I went to the Chanel counter and I did the entire conversation in German, and I was very proud of myself in that moment. So this is the trip, it's German practice, it's my first luxury lipstick. There's a lot tied to that. And then we have a Chanel lip gloss, and I don't know what this is. This is 175. And this is a very dark berry shade. I don't even know why I bought this. I would never go for this in a gloss. And it smells really badly too, so I can no longer wear this. It feels very thick and gloopy too, but it's just so pretty. That's probably, again, why I bought it, because it looked pretty. And then we have some random bits in here. I really wanted to try one of the Rouge Voluptés by YSL, and I just got the completely wrong shade. I went with something quite deep, and this is not the formula for deep colors. However, again, the packaging is stunning, so I do keep it around for that. I think I only wore that lipstick like twice. Talking about a waste of money. And then I've got two Estee Lauder lipsticks. I have Rebel Raspberry from their Pure Color line, and this has always had a bit of a very weird fruity smell that I didn't really like, but this is a sparkly berry lipstick. It was pretty. I did wear it, but when it wore down, the glitters were stuck to your lips and no color. So that's why I ended up no longer wearing that one. And then I have one of those Color Envy lipsticks, or yeah, Pure Color Envy 2010 Impulsive. This was my nude lipstick of choice before I knew which nude suited me. It's a very light, like pinky nude. I used to really, ooh, this has really gone off. This doesn't smell good anymore. But this, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but it's got a huge dent in it. I used to wear this a ton before I really knew what suited me. As I said, I used to wear a lot of these like very light blue toned pinks, but they ended up not really covering my lips well enough. I mentioned fragrance in here, and there are two fragrances in here. If you saw my perfume collection, I did mention the Hugo Boss Deep Red in that. This was the first perfume I ever bought with my own money years ago, and it was still like lounging around my perfume collection. I was like, I just need to put it in here because this was the first scent I ever bought. And then the scent that instantly takes me back on vacation, there's only a little bit left in this, which is why I kind of put it in here, because I definitely need to designate another scent as my travel scent. But this is a deluxe mini sample of Alien Sun Essence, which was like a limited edition summer edition of the Alien perfume. And this is just the minute I smell this, it's travel. I wore this to every single trip I went on between like 2009 and 2018. So whenever I smell this, I'm on vacation. So I've got these 4 blushes and bronzers. Most of them are by Catrice and Essence. One of them is by a Canadian brand called Annabelle. This is their highlighter in Nova. And this is a blue toned highlighter that I felt I didn't really need. But this reminds me of, like, I want to keep one of these products around. A few years ago, I did a swap with this really nice lady from Canada, and she got me this. And I was like, oh, I just need to keep one of those things in my little makeup memory box. I think that's fitting. And then, as I mentioned, 2 blushes from Catrice and a bronzer from Essence. This for years was the only bronzer that Essence had ever done that suited my fair skin. This is the Lights of Orient collection, and it also has really pretty embossing, which is why I never really wanted to use it, because I didn't want to ruin the product, you could say. So that gets to stay. I think the eyeshadow palette from that line is also in here, but I'll tell you more about it in a minute. And then this highlighter from Catrice for a very long time was the only peachy toned highlighter I had and loved. This is from a Enter Wonderland collection, and it's called Fairy Dust. And this was one of the very first highlighters I ever owned. And it's got really pretty butterfly packaging. And then this is definitely a memory. This blush I wore so often. This is the multicolor blush by Catrice in Strawberry Frappuccino. Catrice used to do these kind of blushes, and I loved this so much. The first blush I really wore on a daily basis. My obsession with luxury makeup definitely led me to buy some Chanel and Dior highlighters and blushes that I ended up not using because I didn't want to ruin the product. Like, who am I? This is a Chanel blush from a limited edition collection. This is the Sunkiss Ribbon Blush Harmony, and it's so pretty, you guys. Look at that. It's got this really nice ribbon pattern. It's a very pretty blush shade on, but again, like with the Essence thing, I didn't want to ruin it. And the same goes for these 3 blushes and highlighters from Dior. Like, who am I? I do have to say though that the first one, yeah, the one that all the writing has disappeared from, no, then it's this one. Yes, the first one I got was this Transat highlighter, and this is really pretty, but it's far too dark and far too golden for my fair skin. This is, once again, one of those first highlighters I tried, and it just wasn't the right shade. And then I have the blush from that line as well, which is a really nice pink tone. Again, not something I would wear nowadays, but it's just too pretty to get rid of. And then I also have their Glowing Gardens highlighter, which is a little icy. Like, the shade is good for me, but again, it's got this really pretty embossing. I'm not sure if I can show you that. So do you just see that it's got this really pretty design? I didn't want to ruin that. And talking about too dark and products that just aren't right for me, the Anastasia bronzer in Rosewood. I love the packaging of this. But this was just very muddy on me. The shade is nice, but it didn't work for me. But because of the packaging, I keep it. And then, oh, memory heaven. Benefit's Original Georgia. Well, it's a blush, but I used to use this as a face powder. It's got shimmer. Enough said. That's how much I knew about makeup, people. And then we have the Illamasqua blush in Naked Rose. This is one of the first like mauve tone blushes I ever tried. It just got a bit old. It wasn't performing the same. It's the only Illamasqua product I own, and I really like their packaging design. I haven't really found anything in that line other than that I like. And then the only MAC blush that I decided to keep in here is the Azalea Blossom Ombre Blush. And this is one that is just, again, because of the ombre, I just can't get rid of that. And I've got 2 very old Too Faced products in here that I definitely did use. This is their original Candlelight powder. And again, I use this as an all-over face powder. It's got shimmer. Who am I? And then the Snow Bunny bronzer. The very first one that they ever did. So again, apparently at the end of its lifetime, I only swatched it and I never wore it anymore. But this is also very glowy, and it was a bit orange on me, so it wasn't perfect, but these are some of the, like this, I bought this back when we still had Sephora in the Netherlands. Yes, we used to have Sephora here. We used to. And then I think everything else in here is eyeshadow. And then you might think, oh, that's a lot, but eyeshadow palettes are quite big. So I've got one of these little Dior cream shadows in here. This is one of their Dior Show Fusion Monos, and this one has just dried out quite a bit, like it will fall out if I tip it over. But this was such a pretty shade, and I really like the packaging on this as well, so couldn't get rid of it. The product is still inside. And then what's hiding underneath it, and this is why so few other things fit in here, is this eyeshadow palette from Sephora. This is their collab with Pantone Universe, and this is, again, like almost 10 years old. Who remembers this? It's supposed to look like a laptop case, and you get these shades inside it. Now, this is not the best eyeshadow quality ever, because all of these shades have some sort of like satiny shimmer to it, making every shade look the same. I for a very long time kept it around because of this Seafoam Green shade. That was the only standout shade in the palette, but these shades were very powdery and they just blended away into nothing. I don't know why I bought that, but this was before I really knew my shadows, and back when I was really sort of like really dipping my toes into eyeshadow palettes and trying formulas and doing all that. So that was a long time ago, but I believe I bought it in Boston on vacation, and that's why I like to try to keep it around. And then I think, yep, another thing linked to a trip is this Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palette. I remember wanting to try Marc Jacobs eyeshadow, and this was back when the line first came out. This is the Starlet. It's an all shimmer, like mixed metals kind of palette almost, and that's why I ended up not using it. So, because the shades just kind of, ooh, I just dug that little thing into the shadow. These shades just don't really go together into one look, but they are very much like one shades to pull into a look. This was very expensive. I bought it in France when I did my interrail trip, I think. So again, that's been more than 5 years ago, but this just takes me back to that trip. Two more random bits, and then we only have Essence and Catrice left. We have the Pure My Little Pony collab palette, and this is a colorful palette that I wanted to declutter because I knew I wasn't using it, but this is the palette that got me into colorful eyeshadow. Not by the look I'm wearing today, but if you saw my most recent like perfume collection and I'm wearing a very bright, bold pink eye, this is the palette that taught me how to use color and how to combine certain things and how to use like neutrals and colors together, because this palette is like, it's neutrals but with pops of color. And this is the kind of palette where you can use it as quads, or you can use the rose, or you can use it like that. And that was just very helpful in my exploration of color, which is why I wanted to keep it around. Plus it's My Little Pony. And then this guy, the Benefit Smoke and Eyes. I bought this in Harrods, come to think of it. This is another trip purchase. And this, oh boy, this is old makeup, you guys. Oh, there goes the little pencil that's still there. But do you see how often I've used that gray shade in the middle? I used to wear this all the time. Back when I was doing my second master's, this is what I wore all the time. And then we have Essence and Catrice. So let's just start with these guys, because these are the three Essence princess palettes that they came out with in 2019. They also came out with a line with villains from Catrice and princesses from Essence in 2020. Those palettes are gonna go in here once I do a makeup declutter, but I'm sort of now like collecting these, you could say. So I've got the Belle palette, which is very neutral, lots of mattes, pops of blue in there, really pretty. I've got the Jasmine, which is more like purples and warm tones. This was the least well-performing palette of the three. And then I have Ariel, which is the most interesting one because it's got like a silver and lots of like greens and corals. This was the best one of the three, but I can like look at the packaging. Just look at them. I can't declutter that. I can't. And then I have some more like limited edition and very old Catrice and Essence stuff here. This I kept in my makeup collection for years. This is a Catrice eyeshadow quad. It's called Yellow Subma Green. And you get these like cocky, like army green kind of shades, like olives and stuff like that. And you get a pop of yellow. I have not seen a brand do anything like this in years. And I've had this for more than a decade. So it was time to go in here. But yeah, this is just one of those things where I'm like, Oh yeah, colorful but neutral at the same time. Good job, Catrice. Let's stick to Catrice. One of the first limited edition purchases from Catrice I ever made was their Big City collection. This is the London palette, and it's one of those like can do it all palettes with like a little, is it a brush? Like a brush and a little mini pencil, and then you get some shades. These shades weren't great, but because it was the first time I ever bought a limited edition collection product, that's why it's in here. From that bronzer line from Essence, I also have the eyeshadow palette I told you. This is the Lights of Orient eyeshadow palette, which has, ooh, we're dropping things again. It has these like cranberry shades, which like, I think this came out like 5 or 6 years ago. And this was the first time, I think this is the first time I wrote about something from Essence and Catrice that did very well on my blog. So this is sort of like the instigator behind all of the Catrice and Essence products that you see me review over on this channel as well, because this made me realize that if I try certain things from these brands, that people look for that in English as well, and it's not just German and Dutch people who look for these things. So this is the sort of the palette that made me find my niche, you could say. And then this one, I just couldn't get rid of it. I tried to declutter it last year, but I didn't. This is the Pink Glitter Show. Look, it moves. Eyeshadow palette. I also have the Silver Glitter Show. I bought both of them. This is not only just pretty packaging, this was also lovely quality, but this I felt was very monochrome, and it's very sort of warm toned pink leaning, so I didn't love it for that reason, and it only has like 2 mattes, no 3. So the Silver Glitter Show I felt was a little bit more versatile, so this wasn't the best from that perspective. The shadows are lovely in here, but this was limited edition, you can no longer find it. But how can you say no to this packaging? Like, I can't. So that's why I did want to keep it in here. So there you have it. Those are all of the products that I keep in my makeup memory box. Do you keep around old makeup that you no longer use, but that you want to keep around just because it's pretty? I mean, that's the reason for a lot of these things. But some of it is also just throwbacks. Like that Benefit eyeshadow palette. I can't believe it. I'm like, oh yeah, I bought this in London at Harrods. Like, that's probably why it's so banged up and used. So yeah, this is some of the old makeup that I just keep around, that is certainly expired, but that I do still like to sometimes just look at and go through it. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week. So to see you in my next video. Bye bye.